Hello, so as mentioned in the previous video, I'm going to go through the item set. So I'm going to begin with the Death Knight item set first. And all of my assets for the character and the items are from the N-Hance studio. So that just makes sure that they're going to be compatible with each other, so that if I modify the skeletal meshes, there's going to be this smooth transition and it's going to look and feel like it belongs together, right? So the Death Knight set is part of this stylized fantasy outfits pack, and this one does have I think two packs. So essentially it's got this Death Knight and also this mage outfit. So I'm using this red one, and this is going to be referred to as the Fire Mage outfit. So I'll probably be referencing this again. So once we have this integrated in our Unreal Engine, so let's just open this up, I'm going to have a couple of assets available. So for instance, I have this character asset available, and this will tell me essentially what I need to modify in order to get this look and feel. So you can see that, for example, if I select the cape, it will tell me what skeletal mesh to use and what materials to apply. If I choose the chest, there's the skeletal mesh for the chest, and these are the materials. So in terms of the materials, there could be multiple materials to add. So I need to know, for instance, the slot name on which to apply the certain material, and there's the material that I need to apply to that slot. So this one has 2, for example. What I'm then going to need to do is categorize these skeletal mesh into the different items. So a good example of that is hands. So for example, if I equip my gloves, I might want to be modifying the braces, so the braces and the braces add, and also the hands and the hands add component. Right, so some components, or some items rather, will only be modifying one mesh. So in my case, for instance, the chest piece, it usually just modifies this chest. Although I expect that there will be some items which will also modify the chest add. And then obviously some other items will be modifying numerous skeletal meshes. And just to note, I have covered quite a lot of these details already in this post, log 67, where I've added the footman outfit. So the vast majority of the logic is reused here. So if you're interested how I managed to do it, it was covered here, and it's directly connected to this post 48, where I've essentially created this system in order to handle these items. So I have this base item class, from that I extend to the armor class, and from the armor I have my different item categories. So for example, helmet, chest, braces, etc. So these are quite relevant to this post. Okay, so let's go back to Unreal Engine, and we can have a look at the item categories that we have here. So as you can see, I've got belt, boots, cape, chest, gloves, helm, legs, and shoulder items. So that means that for each of the item sets, I should have at least one item to represent these categories. And when I equip these items, they're going to be modifying some skeletal meshes and materials. So for example, if I open this Death Knight belt, it will give me this mapping of what I need to equip, or rather what I need to modify in my character when I equip the belt. So let's just find our human male. So there's the human male. If I equip the belt as a human male, I should be modifying my skeletal mesh to this one over here. So I'm able to find it by the naming convention, so human male belt Death Knight, and then this is the material instance that I need to apply to this belt, and this is the slot name that I need to use. So I'm able to sort of work them out using this asset over here. So if I search for belt, I can see it over here. It will tell me this is the belt skeletal mesh that I need to use, and then this is the material that I need to apply. So this is the slot name, and this is the material name. Okay, so the next question might be, how do I find the relevant component? And what I've done is I'm finding it using tags. So this is my general character that I'm using. So this is a humanoid character, and it extends this player base v2. So these components are essentially identical between the human male and human female. So that's why I'm able to have this generic humanoid character class. And what I've then done is I've tagged all of the relevant components. So for example, if I search for belt here, I can search for tag. You can see that I've added a tag called belt. And this is how I'm able to locate the relevant items. So where you see this key over here, this will refer to the tag name that I need to find on my actor class. So it will basically tell me find this belt component and then modify the skeletal mesh to this and then apply these materials. So we'll see that happening shortly. Okay, so the actual equipping logic will be handled by my armor base. So all of these items, whether it's a belt, boots, cape, etc., will extend my armor base class. And this is what's going to have this equip or use function. So it's refactored so that I don't have to duplicate this logic. And one of the first things that I need to do is get the slots to meshes. So my character will populate the appearance information from the server. So the server will tell me what is the race, what is the gender for this particular character, and that's where I create this race gender pair. So this is just a custom structure, and that's how I'm able to then get myself this value, right? So you can see there's the key, race gender pair. So I'm specifying race is human, gender, let's say, is female, and I'm going to get this value of slots to mesh materials, right? So if I go back to here, that's what I'm essentially returning, and I'm just promoting that to a variable. And then I go through each one of these and handle this logic. So essentially I go through each of the components that I need to update. So remember that for this belt, I only have the one component to update, but there could be multiple. So that's why we iterate over all of the keys here. Then I find the component by tag. So if I go back to this humanoid character, remember that I've assigned this belt tag to my belt component. So if I go back here, so I should receive this belt component here. So I iterate over all of these components. There should only be one in my cases so far. And then I promote it to or rather I cast it to a skeletal mesh component. And this is how I'm going to set the skeletal mesh asset. So again, I'm taking this from the slots to mesh materials. So you can see there's the slot to mesh materials. This is the component that I'm updating, and this is the skeletal mesh that I'm going to be getting here, right? So this is the skeletal mesh. So there's me assigning the skeletal mesh. After assigning the skeletal mesh, I need to update the materials. So the first thing that I actually do is I try and resolve the skin color. So I've noticed in some of these assets, I'm going to have this grayscale skin. So this is one of the changes that I've made since the Footman outfit, where I grab myself the item owner. So I've got this humanoid character, and I first resolve the skin color for the component that I'm updating. This will only work for several of my components, but I can just show you how I handle this logic. So there's my component, and then I'm going to be setting the material name based on the skin color appearance information that I have. And if I just open up this one, I've got several different skin color materials available in this mapping. So this is just the logic that I have in my actor. Right, so let's go back to here. Once I've assigned the skin color to my components, I can then set the material by name. And this is, again, just simply using the data that I have here. So there's the material instance. This key here is used for the material slot name. So you can see there's the keys value here. So you can see material instance. I grab the keys. Over each one I iterate. I'm going to be setting the material by name using the key as the material slot name. And then I grab the material here again from the material instance. So this way I can have this dynamic logic and it will work for all of my components, right? So I don't have to duplicate this logic and create custom logic for each of my items. Okay, so that's how we handle the equip, and let's have a look at what we do on unequip as well. So when this function is called, I want to essentially reset the skeletal meshes to before. So In my case, what I'm going to do here is, again, I'm going to get the slots to meshes. So what I'm interested in is which components did this item update. So in my case, it's going to be the belt. And I iterate over each of these keys, and I'm going to get the components by tag. So in this case, it's the belt. I'm going to cast it to the skeletal mesh component, and then I'm going to reset that skeletal mesh. So it's going to set it to null. So there can be other logic associated to unequip as well, which will be handled by their category item. So in the belt's case, I simply don't display a belt. But if I had a chest piece, for example, let's find chest based, I'm going to have it reset to whatever the humanoid needs to be, right? So I'm going to grab the item owner, cast it to the humanoid character, and I'm going to ask my actor component to resolve the chest based on the base or the default appearance information which is provided from the server. So that's what we see here. So if I go here, for example, this is part of the humanoid character. What I do is I get myself the appearance information. I get the gender from there, and you can see that based on the gender, I'm going to be using either this human male chest peasant or human female chest peasant. So these are the defaults that I have for my actor. Aside from that, I'm also going to be resolving the skin color, so I'm able to modify the skin color for my characters. So again, this is handled by my actor blueprint. I also, for example, set the material by name. So aside from the skin, the actor is wearing clothes, so I also need to update the appearance for that collection as well. But these are the defaults, and obviously you can reset it to whatever you need it to be in your actor blueprint. So that's how we handle the equip and the unequip logic. And now we can start having a look at all of the other item sets that we have. So we've looked at the belt, so let's check the boots. Okay, so let's open up the Death Knight boots. So you can see here, this is the component that I'm going to be updating. This is the skeletal mesh. This is the material that I'm assigning. And each of these entries is for the different combination of my race and gender pair. So you'll find this to be quite repetitive now. So for example, for a cape, I'm updating the cape. These are the material instances that I need to update. And again, I should always reference them to what's being provided here. So this is what I'm able to use to find the skeletal mesh assets and the materials that I need to update. Next, we've got the chest piece. And in a very similar fashion, I'm going to be finding my chest component, updating the skeletal mesh, updating this material. The gloves is going to be a little bit different. So if I open this, I've got more things to update here. So you can see that I'm updating the braces add, and the hands add component. So I'm going to be updating 3 different components. And again, in a very similar way to before, these are the skeletal meshes and the materials that I need to apply. So I then repeat this for each of the race gender combination. The helm is slightly different. So I've added 2 different booleans. So again, I've done this when I've integrated the footman outfit. So I'm able to remove the facial hair and the hair. I'll cover those shortly. But just like the other classes, I'm able to update the helm component with the skeletal mesh and these material instances. So as you can see that I've got this boolean for removing the hair. So let's have a look at the base item for the helmet. So when I equip, I've got 2 extra functions for removing hair. So this is only applicable to my helm component. So you can see I've added the 2 variables, not on the armor class, but on the helmet base. So if I go here, you can see that this is where I do the check for, do I need to remove the hair? And if I do, then I get my component by tag, and then I simply set its visibility. So I don't reset the mesh, I simply set the visibility to either true or false. So that's how we handle the helmet. So the next item we have is the legs. And as before, we've got this legs add component and the legs, and I'm setting them appropriately. And finally, we've got the shoulders. So again, these values are updated based on the assets that I'm provided. So this one over here. So this should be used as a reference. So perhaps to finish off, I'll do a quick demo with my race and gender pair, so we can see this in action. Okay, so let's start this up. What I'm going to do is I'll log into one female character and another male character, and we're going to start equipping some items. So I've already added some items to this inventory, and I'm just going to add the same items to this one as well. So the way I'm going to do that is I'll spawn them on the map. So I use Postman for that. So I'll go ahead and click spawn. So you'll see them just appearing in the map. So I'll go ahead and spawn all of these items. Okay, and perhaps I'll pick them up with this character first. So if I just pick up all of these items, and let's have a look at how they modify the appearance. So I'll go ahead and equip each item. So as you can see, it's updating the skeletal mesh and the materials with everything that I've just shown earlier. And the same item instances will work on both the male and the female character. And that's because of the slots to mesh materials component, right? So I've created a mapping on these items to map to either a human male or a human female, right? And that's why it will work on both of them. So that's it for this video. Thanks, and see you next time. Bye.